to Psychological Explorations with Dr. Michael Axelman and Daniela. Today we explore one of the pioneers in humanistic psychology, most generally, one of the pioneers in child play therapy, relational psychology, just remarkable contributions. He studied closely loneliness in children and adults and how loneliness interacts with creativity. Clark E. Moustakas today in Psychological Explorations. And we look at his chapter, The Therapeutic Process, from the 1959 book, Psychotherapy with Children, The Living Relationship. He discusses negative attitudes expressed in play. Children, whether disturbed or adjusted, tend to express similar types of negative attitudes in their play. Fear and anger towards parents, siblings, and other significant individuals in their lives. Well-adjusted and those considered disturbed differ in frequency and intensity with which they express these negative attitudes. In well-adjusted children, negative attitudes are expressed less often, with less intensity, and with far more focus and direction. When feelings are expressed indirectly and diffusely, there is little release or satisfaction, and the feelings continue to grow inside the person. Moustakas identifies this impairment in the growth of self as central to the dynamic. The child has doubts about his powers for self-development, does not trust self or others, motivated by undifferentiated feelings of anger and fear. When hostility is expressed overtly, anxiety is potentially a strong inner attitude. And when anxiety is expressed overtly, hostility may lie beneath it. As such, anxiety and hostility never appear in isolation. So the child has lost touch with the real self, no longer knows who he is and what he can do. And it is the loss of self which is his basic suffering. The remedy is therapeutic relationship. Through exploration of his feelings and attitudes in an extended personal relationship, the disturbed child realizes a sense of personal worthiness. In the therapeutic relationship, the therapist conveys to the child a deep belief in him as a person and in his potentialities for growth. He respects the child's values, ways, and peculiarities, and symbolism, and lets the child know these are worthy because they are part of him. The therapeutic process does not automatically occur in the play situation. It becomes possible in a therapeutic relationship where the therapist responds in constant sensitivity to the child's feelings and accepts the child's attitudes and conveys a consistent and sincere belief in the child and a respect for him. By creating such an environment, the child can then make use of the playroom. In the playroom, the disturbed child is left to face himself. He is required to become aware of his real feelings. He may express his feelings in direct attack on toys, in smashing, pounding, breaking, in tearing and crushing, and a variety of other actions. Anxiety is unfocused and diffuse in the beginning. The child may be generally withdrawn and frightened, tense, and garrulous. It's amazing how some will become silent and other will become overly talkative at this point of anxiety. The child may be generally withdrawn and frightened, tense, and garrulous, or over anxious about being clean, neat, or orderly. Anxiety may take other forms, such as regular night terrors, or bizarre fears of animals and things. Shifting from hostility to ambivalence. Anger becomes more focused and specific. Anger is expressed more directly and is often related to particular persons or experiences. It is the parents or siblings or perhaps the whole family which is attacked, either through play figures or in direct verbalization. The therapist or any other person may be attacked or denounced or threatened in the child's play. As these expressions are accepted by the therapist, the feelings become less intense and affect the child less in his total experience. A new level of process begins. The child no longer so completely negative, and we begin to see the expression of ambivalence towards people in his life. The final stage, there is this emergence of a more positive set of feelings and attitudes. The child now sees himself and his relations with people more as they really are. Similar changes in the expression of anxiety also occur. So we see here improved reality testing. Negative and positive attitudes become separated and clear. We can see people with both good and bad. We're no longer into splitting as a solution to the problem. We have a 5-stage process of therapeutic change that begins with strong, diffuse feelings of anxiety and hostility, which pervade almost everything the child does. This is at the point of referral. More specific and focused anxiety and the fears of mother and father become expressed. Then it expresses as diffuse hostility, becoming even more focused. And sometimes the hostility is directed right at the therapist. Anxiety is largely replaced with feelings of confidence. And although the child is still vacillating between confidence and doubt, they can see themselves as confident and reach towards it at times. And in the final phase, positive and negative feelings are sorted out and are more in line with the actual situation. And negative feeling tones shift from severe to more mild to moderate. And this is just a rough guide, of course. Not every single therapy goes step by step here. So think of this as a rough guide to help somebody guide through a change process with a child. Closing. Through a significant relationship in psychotherapy, the disturbed child experiences the process of emotional growth. He moves from the expression of diffused, generalized negative attitudes, which block him from fully developing his potentials as a human being, to the expression of clarified, positive and negative attitudes, which enable him to feel worthy and to develop in terms of his real talents and abilities. With his self-capacity available and his self-regard restored, he ventures into new experiences and attains new meaning and value in his relations with others. Thank you for joining us once again. Please come back for future presentations on psychological explorations. Take care for now.